Yes, so you join me on this week's Away Perspective with Capital FM producer, all-round superstar and mate of mine, Calum Hyder.
Good evening, Mr. Bayliss.
How you going, mate?
Well, I was fine till I saw the tash on your face. It's atrocious. Honestly, if I had kids, I'd have to keep them away.
Dad said he's going to put me above the fire at Christmas, keep the kids away.
Yeah, it's certainly something. But yeah, it's very nice. Good to see you, mate.
Cheers. Thank you very much, pal. Right, we're going to have a little chat. You are a massive Arsenal fan, season ticket holder, down in the theatre of nonsense that is the Emirates Stadium.
Yeah, I am such a fanatic. I actually decided to move to a flat that literally looks over the Emirates Stadium. It's not even a joke. I moved there in June, and I still haven't seen one game since there. So
that's a nightmare. It is a nightmare at the moment. Go back onto it. We talked about the COVID restrictions just before we started recording. And is it right that you're not allowed to sing, you're not allowed to cheer, you can't have a drink? So you'll be absolutely fine at the Emirates when you go back, mate.
I could see that a mile away. You know what? Yes, you're right. Two of those things we don't do at the Emirates anyway, because I think noise pollution. But no, I was just more sad that you can't drink. But it just means I'll have to have a few more in the pub.
Well, that is right. We met you, didn't we, after the 1-1 draw last year, me and a couple of the lads off the podcast. That was a good little Beano. We managed to sneak ourselves in, even though we had colours on. That was quite good.
You've got some interesting lads. I certainly put a few hairs on my chest that night, but it was. I think that was more enjoyable than the game we watched. I think
it wasn't a good one,
wasn't it?
It wasn't a good one. It was not a good one. Right, we're going to talk about Arsenal. Give me a rundown of how the season's gone so far. It looks pretty tight from looking at results. You tend to either win or lose 1-0, 2-1. There's not a lot in it. So is that what you're noticing as an Arsenal fan?
Yeah, you really don't know. And I think we were good at attacking before Arteta came in. We could score goals. Aubameyang was scoring goals for fun. And we just looked terrible at the back. And now we seem to be looking better. I say better before anyone jumps on me at the back. And we just look hopeless going forward. So it's tricky. It's the Leicester game where we lost 1-0. You could see that coming a mile away. Arsenal potentially getting top spot, can really do ourselves justice and be flying high. We're definitely going to lose that sort of game. They're the sort of games, I don't know about Wolves, but when we're supposed to win, or that would really help us if we won this one, we don't seem to win. And then
it's sort of the same. Yeah. We tend to get to a position you can sort of see it about just coming up to half time, just after half time. It's going to be 1-0 to them today. And that's what you're stuck with. But it sounds interesting. You've got some serious firepower up front, though. So it's a bit worrying that you aren't scoring goals, is it?
Yeah, no, because I think Lacazette has been poor this season. I think it's fair to say we've been playing Aubameyang out wide because we've got Lacazette in the middle. It seems like Lacazette can't play anything other than central forward, but at the moment he can't even play that. So we're having that issue. The last game we put Aubameyang up top, didn't do anything. We didn't see anything against Leeds. Eddie seems to go to the under-21s and score about 7 million goals. I know he's probably playing Azerbaijan's under-21s, and there's probably only 4 under-21s in Azerbaijan. But at the same time, he's doing something that he can't seem to be doing at the Arsenal. Willian had an incredible first game of the season against Fulham. I think he assisted 2, scored 1. I was like, we've stolen someone from Chelsea for once instead of the other way round. And he hasn't really done anything since. And Pepe, the poor bloke who's got 72 million price tag, decides to do something stupid and really embarrass himself the other night. But yeah, it's I don't really know the exact reason why it's not firing at the moment. It should be, shouldn't it, Dan?
Well, it should be. Big club, Arsenal. Big money, big players. Doesn't seem to be going your way. I think the last 2 results you've got 0-0 draw with 10 men against Leeds. We struggled in parts against Leeds. They're a tough team to break down, but you could see that coming, that we were going to get one there. And then the Villa. I don't know what you were doing there, to be honest. I mean, you're going to have to run me through that because
I personally, and I speak to my mates about it. I just think there doesn't look like there's anything in the midfield. I think we've got a defence and a 3 up top or whatever. And the midfield, we're just overrun. You look at that game against Aston Villa. I think it was McGinn, Barkley, and Grealish, and we made them look like Brazil back in the day. I mean, it was ridiculous. And I think it's because we're playing potentially Xhaka and Partey, and they're both playing a defensive midfield. So we haven't really got someone going forward like an attacking midfielder. But also, Ceballos, he's having to do a lot more defensive work, so he's not being able to be the creative player. Can we just ban the word Ozil, by the way? If we say that word Ozil, I wasn't
going to mention it, mate. I wasn't going to mention it.
I don't want to mention. If you say to me, Mesut Ozil is going to change Arsenal, no, I'm not. We're banning that from here, and I'm not even going to talk about it. But yeah, we just look overrun in the midfield at the moment, and that seems to be the big problem. We've recently changed from 5 at the back to 4. I think that's more for injuries rather than us being tactical. And yeah, it just looks like we've got nothing in the midfield, so we get dominated every time.
No, fair enough. So we're going to move on, talk about your thoughts for the game coming up on Sunday against us lot, Wolves. Just tell me what you think of Wolves, what you sort of plan to see happening in the game. Do you think Arsenal are going to do us again? I mean, you've beat us pretty convincing the last time out 3-1, and then it's been a string of tough games. I think we beat you 3-1 at our place and a couple of 1-1 draws mixed in there as well. So seems, even though it shouldn't possibly be on paper, we're reasonably evenly matched.
Yeah, I think it'd be fair to say that you see Wolves as I see Arsenal at the moment. It's like I don't really know what team's going to turn up. On our days, we're both very good teams. We've got great strikers. We've got some great players throughout the whole squad. But yeah, if I always thought when we played you at your ground, we'd lose every time. You're very much like our Bolton, and not to say you're the same.
Can't compare us to Bolton.
No, hey, Bolton were in the Champions League, weren't they? At one point, Ivan Campo and Okocha. No, but what I mean is the stadium. It was intimidating, and I think that was one of the only good things about COVID is that you had no fans in the stadium, so that we could probably do a job at Molineux. But I think. It does scream we should win, but I'm only saying that because I think as a biased Arsenal fan, but really it could go either way.
I'm going to trouble you for though, before we wrap this up, is a score prediction, please.
Oh, okay. Well, there's big goals. There's going to be goals, and I am going to go. The problem I have, Dan, and I know you just want an answer, and I'm being a politician. I don't know how we're scoring at the moment, and I want us to win. So the only way we can win is by scoring. So
that's usually how football works. In all fairness,
that's how football. Yeah. I'm gonna go for 2-1 Arsenal. I don't know where we're gonna get 2 goals, but I think we're gonna go 2-1 Arsenal, and I think Jimenez will score mainly because he's one of the only players I know in the team at the moment for Wolves. Sorry, not sorry. And I believe Aubameyang will score. And why not? Let's put Danny Ceballos. Let's throw that one in there. You can have that one. Why have I made a decision? I just know. Hopefully this comes back to help me out in the end.
Well, I was going to say Uzi, but if I say that and mean it, then he'll definitely will score. So
what you've got from this is I'm a passionate Arsenal fan. I know my Arsenal, but in terms of football in general, I don't really care about most other teams. I like Wolves. I think they've got decent fans. I've met some of them, as I said. Very interesting, some of them. And I will, when we can all get back to normal, be going to Molineux with you.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. You are more than welcome. We'll show you the sights of Wolverhampton, mate. Well, thank you very much for that. That has been producer Calum from Capital FM, giving us the away perspective this week on the 77 Club. Back to Sam in the studio.
Here we go. Russell Brand on the away perspective there. Well done for getting hold of him, Dan. A little bit of a love-in for you there. Did you enjoy doing the away perspective?
It was very fun. He's a crafty Cockney geezer.
He is, isn't he? Yeah. Obviously, nice insight into.
We can't let him get away with not knowing any Wolves players.
It's a bit atrocious, isn't it? Really, but it's like we said before, though, with the commentators. If they're only ever going to place Traore, it's all you're ever going to know. Period, isn't it? Not watching.
Yeah, he's in his little London bubble.
If the neutral was watching that the other night, you just switched off and put Nigella on at half time. So. It has to be said. It's one of those things. But Harry, making any changes? You said you didn't like the formation 4 at the back.
Yeah, I think Cody will be straight back in. Obviously, he was sat in the stands against Southampton. He's got to be fit enough, surely. You know what I mean? He's fit as a fiddle. So I think he will come back in just because of what we mentioned. It was a bit shaky at the back. We're away from home. I know we keep saying it doesn't matter, but still, Nuno, when we go away to a so-called bigger team, I know Arsenal are not exactly putting up any trees this season. He will want that solid foundation of the 5 at the back. and try and hit him on the counter, I should imagine. So it'd be interesting to see if he starts Adama again, because obviously Neto come on and scored. We might see Neto start instead of Pedence. So yeah, back to the old 3-4-3, I guess, or whichever way you want to call it, 5-2-3. And Cody will be back in. And if Marcel's fit, he might be in for 8 Nori. But apart from that, and the Neto change, I think that's what we'll be seeing.
Go over live to our wing-back correspondent, Dan Bayliss. Dan, how are the wing-backs looking?
Very, very poor. It's very poor. I've been doing my analysis throughout post-Southampton game. I would love to see Marcel come in if he's fit enough. For Semedo, obviously, and then Nori keeps his spot. Give the young kid a go. No,
would you say Johnny on crutches is better than Semedo?
Me on crutches is better than bloody Semedo.
Is your moustache better than Semedo?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with this moustache.
You're gonna keep it.
Can we just call out the elephant in the room that Bayliss evidently drank a bottle of wine on Monday night and was in control of our Facebook page and called out Nathan Semedo at like half time for being the worst Wolves player
since Frankowski,
which is weird because they're completely, one's a striker who didn't score, the other is a right wing back who didn't score. So it's weird for the start, but we got a few negative comments from that.
Oh yeah, we lost a few followers
because it's ridiculous.
Cheers, Bayliss.
It's awful. I'm sorry, you can't do that. If you're worth 30 million quid, you can't leave a bloke like he did. It's just so bad.
He's not going to get dropped against Arsenal.
He's not going to get dropped, clearly. And Nori should, if Marcel's fit enough, Nori should make way and get a little bit more experience under his belt.
Like, considering, just thinking about it as a whole, am I the only one who thinks Semedo's done quite well since coming into a new team?
I'm with you, mate. It's just this weird agenda Bayliss has got against him.
It's not an agenda. Harry, look, watch the goal. Just watch what happened.
Yeah, but... Yes,
cannot be a world-class footballer.
Everybody makes mistakes, mate. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah, quite right.
Makes mistakes. And we love him.
Yeah, so, But he did pretty well in that game apart from that mistake. He's had a good few games before that. I mean, didn't he get in the Team of the Month award for the Premier League vote? Something like that. So, he can't be doing too bad. But Bailey seems to think he's incapable of bloody running, never mind being a footballer.
No,
so,
he's stronger going back. I'm still confident in what I'm saying. Defensively, he's pretty strong. But
what? You just called him out for being like...
Yeah, you got to let me finish. And then as an absolute stinker, just literally gifts them a goal on a plate. Didn't even attempt to put a tackle in. Got caught in mega no man's land, which he's done quite a few times.
Nori was weak as well on the other side, to be fair.
So he was. But we're talking about Semedo. Going forward, he just doesn't have it. It just doesn't have any ability.
Did you see his shot first half? He nearly rattled one bottom corner when it deflected out to Dendoncker.
If a ball comes out to you at 25, 30 yards and you've got a clear open shot, then yes, have a shot. Great, but it didn't go in. It was a fairly comfortable save for the keeper.
It's a great strike.
Here we go, Dan. Question for you. If somebody right now offered you a straight swap back for Matt Doherty, no questions asked, just swap him back and Doherty's back in, would you take it, yes or no?
I know that some fans are moaning like hell about him, but I'd have him, yeah. Yeah, he got down the line. He created chances for Wolves.
He's better going forward, obviously, but I think he's defensively better than
what I will say is,
given how poor we've been defensively.
What I will say is, I don't think Semedo and Traore work together well on the right.
I like how you leaned in there, Harry. It's like a secret.
It's just because I don't really want to give Bailey some ammunition to say I agree with him. So no, but I do think they struggle down the right. Quietly. I feel like they're getting each other's way. Traore and Semedo, so we've got to try and sort that out. But what I will say is, the last 20 minutes against Southampton, we had Neto, Pedence, Adama, and Raul on, didn't we?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think against Arsenal there's a formation that you can play all four?
I mean, as long as it creates chances, I'm happy to do anything.
Well, it should create chances. It might ship goals in the process.
Yeah, so Neto replaced Moutinho, so he was like basically the number 10, wasn't he? Behind them all. I don't know.
Just talk about getting in people's way then. Wasn't there a moment, I think it was Nori, where he was like completely waiting at the top of the box and getting in Neves' way, and there was two of them, and then he got a bollocking for it.
Yeah, and rightly so, because he was on the edge of the box.
Yeah.
I do think half the issue is that I agree with what Harry says about the Semedo Traore thing. When they both get forward, they both want to cut inside. The only once that Semedo went down the line, it actually created a decent chance. And I don't know why, whether he might even be being told not to do it. I don't know, obviously, but it seems when you give and go on those 1-2s and break the game line and get crosses in from the byline, that's how I personally, and I think we all want to watch Wolves attack and play football. But Semedo especially doesn't want to do that. He wants the ball, nice and safe out wide. If he can beat a man, he might try it, but it'll never be down the line. And then he'll come back in safe or go back and play safe. He's a very safe, or attempts to be a very, very safe footballer. And I think, when we're struggling to score goals, that's really difficult to watch.
What do you think of Neves as captain, Harry?
I didn't mind it. I didn't really think too much of it, to be honest. I didn't mind it being him with Cody being out, and then I think it went to Bolly, didn't it, when he went off? But Neves is, he leads by example, doesn't he? Well, tries to. I didn't really mind it. Who else could it have gone to? Do you think?
He got subbed really well, didn't he? Yeah, subbed like a boss.
Yeah, like who else would you give it to? Matinho, maybe. I don't.
Score prediction, Jack.
I really don't know, Sam. It's a difficult one. It's one of these where, like, you're just thinking in the back of your mind, fucking Villa went there and won 3-0. So definitely going to be 1-1 or 1-0 Arsenal, isn't it? So I'll go with 1-1 because that's the score there, isn't it, lately?
Dan?
I'm completely in the same opinion. Especially with Arsenal, it completely depends which two teams turn up. If good Arsenal and crap Wolves turn up, it's 3-0 Arsenal. If crap Arsenal and good Wolves turn up, it's 3-0 Wolves.
3-0 Arsenal.
So nil draw. 0-0 draw. I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw.
And Harry?
Well, it's two teams that are struggling to score at the moment, so I'm going to go low. And I'm going to say 1-0 Wolves. Be positive.
Well, of course, we go 2-1 Wolves. We'll catch